Welcome to the Anisumo channel. You are about to watch the fifth part of the recap of a horror comedy anime called Yofukashi no Yuta, Call of the Night. If you haven't seen the previous episode, the link is in the description and pinned comment. At the end of the last episode, the protagonist, Koyamori, gets caught in the fight between the vampire Seri Kikyo and the man she calls a nuisance, trying to save him. They run away, leaving Seri behind, and it seems like they manage to escape. They stop in a dark alley to catch their breath, and the man starts talking about his relationship with Seri. He recalls how she probably felt sorry for him when he tripped. He says he doesn't care what she thinks of him, as long as he can stay close to her. Ko is about to scold him when Seri reappears, threatening to kill him. She says she's been lying all along and that she's a vampire who doesn't care about humans. Ko protects the man again, and just as Seri is about to attack, Nozuna shows up to save the day. She says Seri was naive to think she'd really leave the two alone. Nozuna then asks what's up with these four eyes, but the guy, and why Seri, who's never killed anyone before, decided to do so now. What a shocking twist. And it doesn't stop there. The nuisance tells Nozuna to let him go. He says it's all his fault and that he knew he couldn't fall in love with her because they're just friends. Seri, with no choice left, tells the truth. She says it's hard to have friends when your natural instinct as a vampire is always to seduce humans. She thought things could be different with him. Nozuna lets her go, and Seri tells the man they should stop seeing each other and pretend nothing ever happened. Ko, thinking the situation through, says she's the real nuisance for trying to kill her friend just to preserve a friendship. He suggests they just talk things out like friends. Seri admits she really is a vampire and says that even though Ko and Nozuna have this unique human-vampire relationship, that's a rare exception. Normally, vampires can't be friends with humans. She apologizes, says goodbye, and starts crying. Finally giving in to her true feelings, she breaks down, saying she doesn't want to lose that friendship. The man, on the other hand, says he doesn't want to lose her either and asks her to turn him into a vampire. Seri says that's not fair to him, but he insists. He'd rather be an undead than live a dead life inside without her. Ko can't help but feel a little envious, wondering when he'll finally be able to turn. In the end, everything works out, and they all go celebrate together at karaoke. On their way out, Ko and Nozuna run into Midori Kohokobi, who's wearing a weird outfit. She was actually looking for someone to help out at the maid cafe where she works and begs Nozuna to do it, saying she's the only one who can help without hurting the cafe's popularity. Nozuna, though a bit insulted, agrees, mostly because of the money. Ko decides to wait for Nozuna to finish her shift and sits in the cafe like a regular customer. Another maid comes to serve him and is impressed by how much the girls get into character. It feels just like an anime. After the shift ends, Midori is about to transfer Nozuna's payment when she gets an email. It contains compromising photos of the maids. Quick explanation: embarrassing or not, it's absolutely forbidden to take photos or film inside maid cafes to protect the staff's privacy. Even if you just want a photo of your food, there's a whole procedure, and your camera gets inspected to make sure you didn't capture anyone else. So these photos are a big problem, especially since the sender warns that the images are already circulating online. Ko stares at the photos intensely, and Midori calls him a pervert, accusing him of staring because she might be in them. But he fires back, saying that's not true, the photos are of the girl who served him earlier. Seeing Ko's keen eye for detail, Midori asks him to help find the culprit. The next day, before the cafe opens, he's still studying the photos when the victim, Arisa, arrives and jokingly says she's embarrassed by how intensely he's looking at her body. She apologizes and says she's sorry for not noticing she was being photographed. Ko figures out that since some pictures show her changing clothes, the only possible angle is through the window. He checks it out and sees it's too high to climb, unless the person is a vampire. Nozuna suspects Midori, but Ko quickly rules her out. He continues to examine the scene and even asks Nozuna to pose for a test shot. Something feels off. After thinking hard, he pieces everything together and finds the suspect. Later that night, Ko explains to Midori who the culprit is when someone arrives. They hide in a closet, while Nazuna tells Arisa that everyone has already left and she should close the cafe. Inside the closet, Ko explains the photos were taken after hours. Then they hear a noise at the window. Ko jumps out and catches the girl red-handed. Nazuna realizes she used the timer to take the photos from afar. After getting dressed again, Ko explains that the photos were too perfect, as if she were posing. Plus, none of them actually showed anything indecent. Midori joins in, figuring that Arisa used to be the most popular maid before Midori joined. Jealous, Arisa leaked her own photos in an attempt to regain popularity. Arisa is about to quit when Midori stops her, saying everyone has low points like that, even herself. She even compliments some of the photos. In the end, everything turns out fine, and Nazuna continues working there. Ko is waiting for her outside when Arisa shows up. Even on her day off, she came to visit. That's how much she loves maid cafes. This time, she takes a photo she can proudly share with others. After some time working at the cafe, Nazuna's apartment is looking much better. She says with the extra money, she can earn even more with her Kodo service, where she sleeps beside clients, just sleeps, and tells Ko to go find people who look tired. He wonders if he'll find anyone like that when he comes across a very gloomy-looking lady. After an awkward conversation, they move to a quieter place to talk. She's disappointed, thinking Ko was trying to hit on her. He explains the Kodo service, and she quotes a labor law that says minors in Japan can't work from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. She goes on to say that if she reports him, the shady Kodo house will be shut down. But in the end, she's just joking. Still, she warns him to be more careful next time. Ko sighs in relief and smiles. She also says she prefers sleeping alone. He mentions they also offer massages, and that gets her attention. She says she's always on her feet because of work. When Ko asks what she does, he gets excited to hear she's a detective. But she quickly kills his excitement, saying it's not like in anime or movies. She mostly investigates cheating spouses or missing people. Speaking of which, she asks if he knows someone named Okiyama Okihito.
知らないって。
本当に Ko lies and says he's never heard of him. She narrows her eyes and grabs his wrist to check his pulse, asking again if that's true. The scene doesn't make it clear whether she catches him in the lie, but she seems relieved. Nazuna is upset he didn't bring back a client until she sees he brought beer. Outside the apartment, the detective says she just hooked a much bigger fish than she expected. In the next scene, Ko is talking to his friends outside the school, asking why they called him out of nowhere. He explains he just wants to hang out with them. Despite their hesitation, he breaks into the school, inviting them in too. Mohiru says it was pure luck they reconnected after all these years and wants to make good memories with his friends because everything can change suddenly, like when Ko stopped going to school. They start exploring urban legends, like Japan's version of Bloody Mary. They have fun sneaking through the school, checking if the piano really plays itself at night, and investigating spooky stuff. Apparently, there's one legend at their school that might be true. Around 10 years ago, one of their teachers disappeared and was never found. Some say he still appears in a classroom late at night. The friends shrug it off, calling it fake. Still, they agree to check it out because Mohiru insists, and a mysterious figure appears, saying they shouldn't be there, and that it's their fault. He tried to resist, but they forced his hand by breaking in. In a flash, he's on top of Akira. Ko is frozen, feeling like this has happened before. Tension builds as Ko attacks the man, concluding he's a vampire. But something's off. Vampires are supposed to be elegant and attractive. Why does this one look so broken and miserable? The man, lying on the ground, tells them to run. Then a voice speaks from the darkness, saying she was looking for a big fish but didn't expect to win the lottery. It's the detective. She offers her neck to the vampire, joking about being a smoker. He lunges, but then recoils in agony. The detective is shocked when he says her blood is even worse than he imagined. She suspected it might come to this but didn't believe a vampire could go 10 years without a victim. Ko asks why he didn't feed before, but she says no one wants to become a vampire. The man cries, saying he was deceived, heartbroken over being tricked by someone he loved. The detective praises his strength for resisting all this time and says she'll reward him by letting him die as a human. The man looks horrified at the object she shows him. She tells him not to resist, just hold on. She understands his pain, but now he can finally rest. Ko is furious, asking why she killed him. She snaps back, saying he didn't want to live as a monster anymore, and that she won't let Ko achieve his foolish dream either. She tells him he knows nothing about vampires and hands her business cards to his friends. Worth noting, we don't actually know how the vampire died. Was it because of the object, maybe a ring, or something about her blood? After all, we've seen Nazuna walk in the sun unharmed. Maybe because she feeds regularly. What do you think? Let me know in the comments so we can discuss. But no manga spoilers, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to catch the next episode.